Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm here to answer questions that you've brought up with me. And today I'm answering the question, people struggle to hear me in public spaces. How can I increase my volume without feeling like I'm screaming? So this is a really good question, but it's a tricky question because obviously there are a lot of different kinds of public spaces and a lot of different variations in background noise within those public spaces. So I'm going to break up my answer to this question over two videos. I'm going to talk in this video more broadly about what to do if you feel like your voice is too quiet. And in the next video, I'll talk about what to do when you're in places where there's a lot of background noise. In my last video, I talked about what to do if your voice is too loud. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, but actually, I'm going to give you pretty much the same advice that I did in this last video for what to do if your voice is too quiet, which is that you need to get more specific about your intention and your focus when you communicate. The voice is often perceived as too quiet because there's just a lack of intention when you're communicating that's kind of causing the voice to sort of drop flat, right? If you watched my last video, you'll know that the voice is sound waves, effectively, that travel through the space and land on who you're talking to. So if you don't have any intention of where you want the sound to go, what can happen is that as the sound waves travel out of the mouth, they can just sort of fall down and you can hear that that's changed the volume. Or the voice can even fall back on itself. So you can hear now that the sound waves are falling back on me, right? And both of those things have very much affected probably how you're perceiving my voice. And they affect how the voice is perceived in terms of volume to any listener. This can become such an entrenched habit that people can start to really identify themselves in this way, like as a quiet person or as a soft-spoken person. But here's the thing. I have yet to meet a soft-spoken baby. What about you? Right? We do not come out of the womb soft-spoken, right? And nor should we, right? We need to make our needs heard when we're babies, which means that kind of soft-spoken quality or quiet quality to your voice starts to kick in somewhere when you start getting conditioning. So somewhere a little bit later in childhood at its earliest. And what that means is it's not your identity. It's a habit. And like any habit, if you would like to have more options, you can change it. You can change it so that you are communicating from a strong, more empowered place where you're making your voice heard in a conversational way without feeling like you're having to shout at people. The way we do that is through the specificity of intention and focus. The specificity of intention and focus starts with a listening to both who you're talking to and to your own body as you communicate. So in terms of who you're talking to, if you are reading their body language as you're talking to them and you feel like they're kind of leaning forward to hear you, you know, okay, my sound waves are not quite reaching you. There's something I need to do to adjust my specificity of intention. The next thing to check in with in terms of that listening is what is happening in your own body as you communicate. A vocal pulling back of the voice or holding back or kind of dropping of the voice tends to be accompanied by a physical pulling back or a kind of caving in on oneself. So if you're standing, check in with, are you feeling grounded across the whole of the soles of your feet? And if you're sitting, check in with, can you ground into your sit bones? Make sure you're kind of not pulling back on yourself, but you're really grounding into your sit bones so you can feel your spine. And this makes sure that before you start speaking, you are starting to speak from a centered place. This is going to help you breathe better, right? The breathing mechanism is what's responsible for communicating vocally and sending those sound waves to where you want them to go. So you're starting from that empowered place so that you can add in a sense of, now that I'm grounded and centered, who am I talking to? Where are they in the space? That's my intention. My intention is to reach you with my sound waves. You don't need to do that by pushing. Just by thinking the thought, where are you? There you are. And then I'm talking to you. your body has a better sense of what you're trying to achieve, and your body, which is where your voice is made, will function better to help you send those sound waves simply with that direction. Having that intention of I'm talking to you is very different than thinking, oh, I need to be louder. Right? As soon as we start to be louder, that's not really a clarity or specificity of intention. It's actually not specific at all, which is why we tend to just start pushing, right? So I would never, like I said in the Too Loud video, I would never address so-called volume issues by looking at volume, because they just tend to lead you down a rabbit hole of bad habits. Instead, let's not think about this as a volume issue. Let's think about this as an energy issue. Do you have the energy that you need to send the sound waves where you want them to go? And if not, let's adjust the energy by getting more specific with our intention and focus. This specificity of intention and focus, when it's put together with a grounded body and a supported airflow, is going to give you exactly the energy you need to reach who you're talking to with ease. We've talked about little ways you can find a grounded body. If you're curious about how to find a supported airflow, check out my breath support episodes on my Voice What Matters podcasts, and they go into detail about how you can access that healthy airflow for voicing. So that's tip 1, specificity of intention. Okay. At this point, you might be thinking, I hear you, but here's the thing. When there's a lot of background noise, people are still not hearing me. Don't worry, I've got your back in the next video, so stay tuned. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.